Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're taking something incredibly boring, static, frustrating PDF bank statements, and turning them into a living, conversational database. We're going to dive into a totally fascinating new use case for Google's NotebookLM and explore how you can transform those confusing statements into a highly interactive, personalized financial tracking system.
Seriously, have you ever just stared at your bank statement at the end of the month and thought, where on earth did all my money actually go? It's a completely universal struggle. I mean, we've all been there, right? Squinting at endless rows of debits and credits, trying to decipher these entirely confusing transaction descriptions. You're basically trying to decode cryptic merchant acronyms that honestly look way more like typos than actual stores. It's tedious and, frankly, a bit overwhelming.
Okay, let's dive into this. Standard budgeting apps usually give you these colorful pie charts and arbitrary spending limits that, let's be honest, most of us just end up ignoring anyway. But NotebookLM offers a fundamentally different approach. Instead of rigid categories, it actually lets you use natural language queries. Basically, you just talk to it. And the best part? Its answers are strictly grounded in your actual documents. It's not pulling random financial advice from the web. It is looking exclusively at the data you feed it. Section 1. Meet your AI assistant. Instant summaries. So how does this actually work in practice? Well, the moment you upload a bank statement into a new notebook, NotebookLM gets right to work. Within literally seconds, it generates a neat short summary of the document. You don't even need to reach for a calculator. It immediately identifies the key details. We're talking your opening balance, your closing balance, and it even pulls out examples of specific transfers. This is absolutely crucial because it completely eliminates that awful manual data entry phase, giving you an immediate, high-level snapshot before you even ask your very first question. Section 2. The power of prompts. 3 ways to ask. Let's move to and see how this builds. While that instant summary is great, the real magic happens when you start interacting with your data. The source material outlines 3 incredibly useful types of queries. The first type is the specific expense check. Remember, you're having a dynamic conversation with your finances here, not just running some standard search query. You can just ask, what's the biggest expense this month? You're literally asking the AI to pinpoint a specific, critical piece of data from an absolute sea of numbers. And this brilliantly illustrates how NotebookLM operates. It doesn't just fetch a number for you. It contextualizes it. It instantly crunches the numbers and pulls up the exact transaction, giving you a complete instant breakdown. You get the transaction date, the recipient, the transaction type, and get this, it even compares that single expense to your total withdrawals for the entire month. It helps you realize exactly how significant that one single expense was in the grand scheme of your monthly spending. Now, the second type of prompt is the general inquiry. This is where you can ask NotebookLM literally any question in completely natural language to demystify those weird line items banks are so famous for. It extracts granular details in plain English. It clarifies what a vague transaction description actually means. It identifies the specific recipients you paid, and it neatly categorizes those transaction types. It just effortlessly translates bank speak into human speak. Then we have the third prompt type, the comprehensive analysis. This one is all about seeing the bigger picture. You don't just have to upload a single month statement. You can upload yearly records, those personal Excel expense tracking sheets you've got lying around, and even past tax returns. Once it's all stacked together, you can literally ask NotebookLM to analyze everything together to give me a clearer, more comprehensive view of my spending and financial situation. And because it displays fully verifiable citations, you never have to guess where the insight came from. Section 3. Visualizing with mind maps. Now, what's really interesting about this is reading through text summaries and asking questions is fantastic, but what if you're a visual learner? What if you don't want to type out questions, but you also don't want to read a lengthy text document that's just as long as the original bank statement? Well, NotebookLM handles complex PDFs automatically using its Mind Maps feature. It organizes all the information from your statement into a clean, visually appealing, interactive diagram. You get these major nodes: account holder information, statement details, balance summary, and transactions. And it's completely clickable. So if you click on the transactions node, it opens up subnodes for specific dates. Click a date and boom, you see the exact merchant name, amount spent, and transaction type. It's an incredibly simple way to get a clear visual snapshot without getting completely overwhelmed by rows of raw numbers. Section 4. The big privacy debate. But, we really can't talk about feeding your financial life into an AI without addressing the elephant in the room. Giving a cloud-based service access to this kind of sensitive data sparks a very serious debate.
On one side, you have highly valid security concerns. As one commenter, metallurgist, pointed out, they'd love to have this power to access their financial data, but they are terrified of granting access to credit card numbers, social security numbers, taxes, and bank accounts. For many folks, the security risk of putting this on the cloud is just way too high, regardless of whether it's backed by a major company like Google. Actually, some users even resort to heavily redacting their documents with whiteout before uploading them just to strip out that metadata. So the crucial point is there's a totally different perspective out there too. A much more fatalistic viewpoint exists in the community. Another commenter, Colby, argues that virtually every site has been hacked at some point anyway, suggesting that your personal information is already out there on the dark web and available for sale. It's a really intense debate between strict data protection and the belief that privacy is already somewhat compromised, so you might as well reap the benefits of the AI tools while you're at it. Which brings us to the ultimate question. Is the convenience of having an all-knowing natural language AI financial assistant worth the potential risk of uploading your entire financial life to the cloud? It is an absolutely incredible tool for unlocking your data, but that kind of power demands a high level of trust. So is the AI convenience worth the risk? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll leave you to ponder that one on your own.